So, welcome everybody. We're so glad you joined us today, and thank you for coming on a Monday. We're going to be starting the Developer Associate Series starting in February, but we wanted to give you a heads up because we do have some prerequisites that we want to cover with you and also get you started with Studio. So, my name is Diana Gray. I'm the Community Marketing Manager for UiPath America. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the team. We're going to do a program overview and prerequisites run through so that you guys, again, are aware of what is expected. And then self-paced study requirements per week. I'm going to run through so you just really have an idea of where to go, how to access everything, and what you'll get and benefit from. And then Priya's going to be doing a session on getting started with Studio. So the team today is myself. I already introduced myself. Priya, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Priya Esteves. I'm an AI and automation solution architect, and I've been a UiPath MVP for 6 years in a row. So I've played all the roles from infrastructure to deployment to be name it solution architect, every single role. So UiPath has been one of the favorite products that we use in our automation journey. So welcome you all here for beginning your automation journey. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ravati,
Hey, hi everyone. This is Revati from her second innings, the next innings platform. You will get to know more about how we support and tie up with partnership with UiPath and Diana and making such series possible for you all with our mentors. Thank you all for joining us today.
thank you. And then we also have Lagesh who's going to be helping us and Anna Maria. They do a lot of work in the background to help with chat. Anna Maria has been helpful with putting together the forum links and getting some of this collateral done. So I just wanted to make sure she got some credit for participating in this series as well. So this is the schedule. We're going to start session one on February 2nd. So if you have friends or people, colleagues within your organizations, please make sure that they register for this. This is a really invaluable series. It's really the foundation of UiPath automation. It's very important. It's absolutely critical to get this particular training because it really leads into everything else within the company. So we really want to extend the reach, make sure people sign up. The thing that we're doing here is we're having you guys go through the self-paced training, but what we're doing is bringing experts on to guide you through it, which I think is really important. That way, if you have a question, if you stumble, if you need any kind of help, you're going to have a whole group of people here to support you. Make sure that you understand this so that you're going to pass this training, you're going to get your credential, and you will be prepared to take the certification. And so that I think is really, really important because as I said, this is the foundation. So to have this on your resume, I think is a really critical step for your journey in automation with UiPath. And the objective here is that you need to finish all the required and additional self-paced content. So we're going to run that you through that too. And your date is going to be March 30th. So we're actually going to stop the training in February, the end of February, but you have another month to complete your self-paced training. So you want to keep up as much as you can, but if you are behind because of a meeting that you have, or you just can't do something in a particular week, you're still going to have time to catch up on that self-paced training. So, just to let you know, UiPath is one of the leaders in the space. This is a chart from 2024, but UiPath has been holding strong in this area for a long, long time. And again, I did mention the certification. That's not part of the series. We do have a certification framework program that we did last year. And I believe that will be starting up again in this year, but I need to find out for sure. And I will find out within the next 2 weeks and let you know as part of the series where you can go get more information on certification. And this is just something that we'll put in the presentation that you see, but the Automation Developer Associate format. So the cost right now is 150. The delivery method is really in person or online. It's proctored through Pearson VUE um, centers, and the format is really multiple choice, drag and drop, and it's a 90-minute test. So this is one of, I believe we have 11 certifications now within our certification framework. And it's always great to get a UiPath industry recognized certification because this carries a lot of weight in the automation world, especially when we are partnering with so many people like NVIDIA, Microsoft, AWS. They're going to recognize the certification, just to name a few, by the way. And then in this presentation deck too is also the link to the learning path that we are following. There are multiple learning paths that UiPath provides. All this training is free. I just want to make sure that you're following the same learning path that we are going to cover, just to make sure there's no mistakes there. And you'll see this in all the descriptions as well. So let's just go through what one of the weeks would look like. So the first week is going to be the introduction to RPA and UiPath Studio. Priya will also be on that call, but you're basically going to be going through the overview of RPA and its applications. So a little bit of content might be duplicated, but that's fine. Variables and data types and control flow. And then in the second session of that week, so we'll always be doing a Monday and a Wednesday, we'll introduce you to data manipulation in UiPath Studio. We have a total team for each one of these weeks that will be helping drive this. Again, these are all experts. For instance, Priya is a six-time MVP, soon to be a seven-time MVP. We have associate Parima, who's works for Boundaryless. We have, amazing people who will all introduce themselves during the first week. But this is a great team, and you'll have this team for every week. And then you'll also be able to communicate with them in the forum that we'll introduce you to. So the first week, you really do have some prerequisites that you need to do. You need to do a survey. It's a pre-training survey. You need to do the Introduction to Automation course. And this doesn't take a lot of time, just so you know. It's just 1 hour. And then you're going to build your first automation in Studio. And that's why Priya's here today, just to kind of give you that little overview of Studio so you feel comfortable like jumping in and building your first automation. You guys can all do this. It should be no problem. So just make sure you note this information is also on the description site that you use to register for this course. So you should have access to that right now. And then in week one, session one, again, you're always going to have links to where those paths are in the learning path. And then you'll know exactly what you're going to cover. Again, all this information is in each description. So if you have any questions, please let us know. I'm not going to go through all of these. Every week I'll pull up a new one and introduce you to the speakers of that week. And you'll see we have these for each one. So I'm not going to go through all of them today. But what I do want to do is go back down to the fourth week, which is our final week. And it says, please complete the self-paced learning from weeks 1 and 4, along with the additional post on the next slide. So on the next slide is week 5, which there is no week 5. It's really that March timeframe, where you're going to go through all of these additional modules. And the reason for that is you want to make sure that number one, you've created all the modules in order to get your training credential. And then you also want to make sure that you're prepared for the certification. So again, this isn't a whole lot of time. You would just do a couple of these sessions per week through March yourself. And then if you have any questions, the forum's still going to be open for you to ask any questions you have. And if you really are struggling, you can always reach out to us and we will set up a special open office session and invite you to join us or join a mentor to help you through whatever questions you have. So important links are right here. And Priya's going to put or not Priya, Ravathi's going to put these in the chat for you so that the first one is really the series page. This is where all the different sessions are, and you need to register for each one. The second link is to the community forum thread for this particular series. So that's where you're going to put any questions that you have on any of the different sessions that we go through. Instead of like filling up the chat with all your questions, place them here. That way more people can see them and get the answers in addition to yourself. And then the UiPath chapter location helps you join this particular chapter. And you can also find the recordings for every session there. So every time we do a session, like we're recording the session today, it will be available the next day. So tomorrow, if you look at this link, you'll see the session for today. It will be recorded and it will be up there and posted for you. And then again, the UiPath community forum to ask questions. Actually, that should say, and I will change that, it should say that this is the learning path that you need to take. So ignore the community forum. I'll change that, and it should say the learning link of where you'd go for the entire series, which I showed you on a slide prior. And with that, I'm gonna have Ravathi talk a little bit about how their team has helped with career guidance and support in these series.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Diana. As I said, welcome you all to this lovely series. This is going to be a very fundamental for you to get into the agentic AI and such, right? So we are from Her Second Innings. From my introduction, you would have known we are a platform from Her Second Innings and the Next Innings. We also next slide, Diana. So what are we all about? We stand tall for the growth of a professional in their career progression. How do we do that? We do that with Her Second Innings. It's a platform for women first hiring platform for women and also women who have taken sabbatical, want to re-enter into the industry. We support them through Her Second Innings. We also have the entity, The Next Innings, which is a global platform for everyone reaching their goals in professional career. We also support them in terms of development centers, training programs where we give hands-on, on-the-job trainings and internships for them. The impact all these three platforms have created is immense, and we are a rich, community of 2 lakh plus community members we hold. We place them, we give them the guidance, we give them the support in their career and make them reach their career goals. We also partner with other industry experts in getting through for the mentorship. That is what Diana was talking about in her last slide, where during this series as well, you can look into certain programs where we would be enabling that, giving that bridge between your learning and what the industry asks us through a session. I'll talk about that in the next slide. We are partnered with a lot of Fortune 500 companies, about 20 plus Fortune 500 companies, and also a good number of startup companies, ecosystems we are partnered with to support this goal of getting you into the career progression. Next slide, Dan. Yeah, the event or the series in what Diana was talking about is all about the career blueprint sessions. It is for the professionals as well as who are beginners in automation. So both of these categories can attend these sessions and getting their guidance from the industry experts themselves and navigating from where you are into automation or automation to agentic AI. This is what we are going to achieve in this session of Career Blueprint. Next, Anna. Yeah, feel free to connect with us. Any clarity, any kind of assistance you require, this is where you reach out. I'll also share you a WhatsApp group that we hold for UiPath exclusively. Our association with UiPath has been from 2018, and with Diana especially has been immensely wonderful to guide a lot of professionals like yourselves take the step into the agentic automation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Priya and she's going to help you get started with Studio. So I'm going to stop sharing so she can share her slide deck.
Okay. Hope you guys can see my
Yeah,
screen.
and I'll let you know when it comes up, Priya.
Okay,
There you go. I see it.
thank you. So thank you, Diana, and thank you, Revati, for once again giving me this opportunity to be a part of the Developer Associate series. To me, this is one of my favorites because where you get to see like the new members of the community and inspire them to be like professional developers and get certified as well. So, like I said, this is our team. We've already gone through like the next innings team and Diana and myself. I'm a community member as well. So just like you, I was there one day starting one of these sessions and learning. And my growth has been immense because like these sessions help me get a lot of insights into not just like what the core technical problem is, but also understand like what the industry needs. So you get to network with a lot of other people in the same industry and somebody who's struggling in the same level. So you guys can grow together as a team. So I will say like try to attend as many events as possible and complete this series because this will be a very good first step for your growth. So for today, our learning plan is about like learning just the basics of what is automation. And I'm going to showcase like what UiPath platform, the basics, and how do you set up, okay? And so we went through the training plan is the same as what Diana and Revati showed. So we've got like a wide variety of sessions planned. So please don't miss it. Sign up for all these sessions. And since you are here, I'm going to showcase like why this automation developer associate matters. Because like what's important about this program and why you have to take up this learning. So, being a developer and UiPath automation developer means that you will become the technical backbone of any automation program. It could be just your team or a center of excellence or any automation initiative that your organization could have. They can have large visions and strategic plans, but without the developer, they cannot move forward. So, you play a very critical role in being the technical backbone of this program. So, becoming a developer gives you the first step to be a lead developer, and then you can transition over to an architect. And there is a wide variety of roles that you could choose from. You could also play a BA, or if you choose to like pivot into the admin, you could also do that. But the first step is to learn to become the associate developer. And getting this certification, once you go through this path and then you get the professional certification, what this does is it validates your skills because you can have like all these skills, but in order to like showcase it with a badge, this certification provides you that validation itself. And then it gives you a wide variety of opportunities as well that you could like transition into like different areas or different what are the different companies that offer this role. So there's a lot of offerings, and every single organization obviously has a developer program role available. Okay, so first off, let's talk about like what is automation. So any technology, anything that you touch that, you know, the manual steps are being like taken off your plate, then that becomes an automation. So automation is basically a technology that just helps you carry out your task with ease, okay, without needing like constant human intervention, without you having to sit there and do it. That's what automation means. So it allows all these processes to run smoothly and efficiently. And now that you know what is automation, let's talk about what is robotic process automation. So, robotic process automation is a segment of this technology. Basically, it's a software program that's going to mimic you on your computer because basically, whenever we use computers, we do like three things. We either use our keyboard, the mouse movements, or reading our computer screen. So, in order to accomplish all these required tasks, you could use the robotic process automation. And some of the benefits, the key benefits of using RPA is that like whenever you use an end-to-end business process, when we are doing like with a human 100% like human involvement, there is a high chance that you could run into a lot of errors or like have compliance issues. What RPA brings is like you can achieve the same task with increased speed and accuracy. And what this does is it gives you like 100% compliance rate and easily scalable as well. So you could add like 100 different robots at scale for your business process at any given point in time. And some of the common automation use cases, because every single organization has various departments. And the common one that we've seen are payroll processing. Whenever you have employees, there's onboarding involved and there's payroll processing. So we deal with a lot of like, manual tasks where payroll involves a lot of paperwork and a lot of compliance. So, payroll processing could be a very easy process that could be automated that can help the HR team to focus on other high value tasks. And another use case would be like client information update. Let's say you have different vendors and the client has like constant contact updates that they are changing and you need to keep track of it. Instead of doing manually, you could have an automation built out for you to update those information. And also reporting is a wide use case that could be applied to several different verticals as well. And using reporting, you could run reports, you could execute them, you could send these reports. So these are like some of the common use cases, but think about like your day-to-day activities that you're doing and then look at like what activities could you bring value with. So anything that you could like, that you're thinking that you spend a lot of hours, those are the use cases that could be automated. So think about what your business does from an SME standpoint, a subject matter expert. If they are complaining, if they are like giving you all their pain points in like what they deal on a day-to-day basis, let's say there are like 1,000 invoices that comes in every day and that they have to read this and input information into a downstream like a CRM system or like update like multiple SAP Salesforce. All these are like things that they are doing manually. Those could be like a potential use case that you could automate. And for any automation use case to be like stabilized for RPA, just remember that they need to be manual and high in volume and repeatable steps for the robot and in a stable system. Okay. And here's an in-depth view of a use case. So we are looking at the client information update. So before an automation, the person that was manually doing this was updating the information from all these different sources. And he needed to make like back and forth calls to the database to get this information in order to complete this. This was probably taking him hours to do this. But once you automated this task, what happens is like he can build the robot to deal with the task of processing this request of like collecting information from different sources and also like extract the information from the database using the DB calls and then complete this task in minutes. So now he saved like hours of value in terms of time, and he could use that time to focus on the relationship with the client itself or improving the employee quotient and helping the teams come up with like other valuable use cases. Oh, I will go to the core components of UiPath. So UiPath has a wide variety of products in their ecosystem. And in order for you to start with the platform itself, we'll talk about just the three simple products. Okay, the studio, the orchestrator, and the assistant. So think of studio as your canvas where you build your workflow. Okay, that's going to be the place where we are going to be building our automation. So every single like activity that you add, anything that you design your automation will be done in your studio. Once you build your workflow in your studio, you're going to package that workflow and deploy it as a package into your orchestrator. And your orchestrator is like the central managing system. This one manages all the robots and all the assets, the queues, like any kind of configuration that you want your process to run, all of that will be managed through your orchestrator. So if you want to like change the schedule of your process itself, you will go to the orchestrator and not the studio. So once you build and packages, it goes to the orchestrator. And then to execute your process, you use your robot, which is your assistant. The assistant is the one that runs your actual workflow. So this basically is just the executor of your packages itself. And this is in constant contact with the orchestrator in order to know like what values do I need, what assets or queues or storage buckets, anything that it needs to look up, it will look up in the orchestrator. Just make sure that you're clear with the key concepts of like what these three products do. Once you have this, then the connection becomes very seamless. Okay, let's get our environment set up. So if you haven't signed up to our cloud portal yet, please go to cloud.uipath.com and you will be able to sign up. So let me show you my screen just a second. Okay. So if it's your first time going into the cloud.uipath.com, you will be presented with a screen like this, and you could use like any type of authentication or any type of accounts that you want to use. And you could just like sign up with your current email. Or if you have your company's email, you could use your single sign-on or your Microsoft account. In my case, I'm going with like my Google account. And once you sign up with that, then you'll be able to, oh, my Google account apparently needs me to validate, of course. And once you're presented, like you should be able to land in this home screen. Just make sure you're here for us to proceed with this. Again, if you have any trouble signing up, do let us know in the chat and we'll get to it. Okay? So once you're here, we'll see how to download the studio. Just like as you can see right here in the front, you have all the different products. We are going to choose studio. You're just going to click on studio where it says studio, and it's going to take you to the page where studio web is at. Okay. For you to download like your studio into your computer, there's going to be a button that we are going to use. Oops. Apparently it's quite slow for me today. Sometimes it's slow. Okay. There we go. So once you land on this page, then you can see that you can see this button that says install locally. You're going to hit that to download Studio onto your desktop. Okay. And just so you know, the Studio desktop is going to work only for Windows operating system. If you do have a Mac, just make sure that you connect to a virtual machine or something in order to get your Studio locally. Otherwise, you will be on the Studio web itself. Okay. So for your Windows machine, you can click on this, and the installer is pretty simple. It's straightforward. It just has a couple of clicks that you're going to do, and the installer basically walks you through how to install. And it just takes less than like 5 minutes to install this. Okay. Just make sure everybody's got that. So make sure that you go to cloud.uipath.com, sign up, go to the studio page, click on install locally, and you should be able to download. I hope everybody is there. Okay. So the next step is to connect with your assistant. As soon as you download your studio, then you'll be presented with like the UiPath assistant. I'm going to show you on my machine here. So once you install Studio, you should be able to see this one here. So the assistant is the purple icon, and remember that's your robot that executes your process. We're just going to make sure that the robot is connected to the orchestrator. At the very beginning, you'll be presented with a sign in button here. So just click on sign in. It should connect you back to the cloud.uipath.com, and then you can just follow the steps along and it should take you to the orchestrator. Okay, so just ensure that you have this green button where it says connected and licensed with your orchestrator. And remember, the first time that you come in here, it's just gonna say sign in. You're gonna click on sign in, and it's gonna take you to the cloud.uipath.com, and make sure that you're connected to the right tenant, and eventually you'll be seeing this green button. Okay. And then we're going to pull up Studio. So as soon as you download Studio itself, you'll be presented like with the Studio opening up. You can also sign in from there where it says like sign in, like the very first time that you open Studio, you'll be presented with the sign in button. And once you see that, just connect to the orchestrator. Again, it takes you to the same orchestrator. So you're just going to make sure that it's connected, and then you'll be able to create like a new process. So let's just pull up, let me show you. And as you can see, like since the installer is the first time when you install it, it also comes in with the plugins like for your Edge or Chrome. All those are like the default plugins, and you can also add them as you go through. And it should be coming up shortly. There we go. So this is how your home screen is going to be. You can go ahead and click on new project, new process here for us to like anytime you create a new process, you can just like create a new process, or you could choose on any of the templates that are available. Okay. So for these sessions that we're going to be doing, we are most likely to do the process itself. Unless it's the RE framework session, then we'll deep dive. But just for the sake of time, like we can just go ahead and create new process, and you can always give it a meaningful name on what your automation is going to be doing. And then you should be able to be presented with a blank presentation, a blank canvas here. Okay. So once you're in your studio itself, like you will be given like all these different panels. Okay. As you can see, this center panel is where we are going to be building our workflow. And this is where we will be dragging and dropping all the activities from the activities pane, which is on the left side. So this activities pane has over like 300 different activities that are basically the building blocks of our workflow. So we can pick and choose the activities that are necessary for your workflow design. Okay. And on the right side, if you see for each activity, you can have different set of properties. So this properties will give you like how you configure each activity. You want to give it a text, a timeout, a delay, or like any type of setting that you will be doing for those activities. You can do it through the properties itself on the right side. Okay. All right. Let's just look at a quick demo. I'm gonna go here. So I already have like a very simple process that's built out. All it's gonna do is like, I'm just gonna show you what it's gonna do manually. Let's move this out of the way. I just want to type it here. So I just want to go to this finance.yahoo.com, and I want to go to the crypto page, and I want to extract this table that gives me all the values of the crypto. Okay. So for imagine this is my business use case that I will have to come in every day and extract this information and pull it down into an Excel file. Okay. We're going to do this simple process using our automation. I'm going to close the browser here, and we are going to run just the workflow. Again, hands off. I'm not doing it. It's the robot that's going to be running. And as you can see, every time I run my workflow, the assistant pops up, meaning that that's the one that's executing the process. Okay. It's still running. Trust me that it's still running, that it's just like taking its time. And again, since it's on my virtual machine here, like it's just connecting and it's just quite slow. So we'll give it some time for the robot to run. So as you can see, it pulled up the browser with the URL that we specified. And what it's going to do is it's going to grab all the information from this table. So again, relate this process to what your business process does. You could be doing like anything with SAP or Salesforce or any internally built like, system that you're dealing with. All you have to do is like, do I have to interact with that system in through the UI or through the database calls? So depending on your business process, the workflows could be architected and designed in a way that you could get this information and processed downstream to your other workflows as well. So it's still running. Again, just so you know, like depending on the machine speed, it's just going to be like faster, I promise. Unfortunately, like my machine speed today is really slow. But I will tell you this gets done in like less than 5 seconds. It just pulls up the browser, extracts this information, and puts it into an Excel file. So think of all the use cases that you could do. So if you had to like input data, or like you have a heavily data heavy process that has a lot of data entry steps that you have to fill out like 15 different fields or 100 different fields, you could use an automation for you to input that information. So as long as you provide the steps clearly into your workflow, you can achieve that. So just ensure that you have the data ready or like the steps ready, what you're going to be automating. And depending on those steps, you can write your activities. So you can do like, I need to navigate from page to page. You could do a click or navigate through a URL. Or if you had like to work with APIs, you could also use like the integration services to achieve that. So if you had like OneDrive, and again, just remember that the activities are not just limited. You could also import like multiple different activities using the manage packages, and you could download a certain set of activities for that specific system as well. And as you can see, it has done processing, but I can still see that the assistant is still running. And I think like it ran into an error, probably because like my system was slow. And that's the reason that it's like retrying and it's going to have the process ready. So I'm just going to kill it for now, but I can show you what it had extracted. Okay. It's going to pull up the Excel file with the information that it was able to extract from this URL. And it's going to come up. Unfortunately, like my machine's not supporting today, but I'm trying to pull up the Excel file here. So just bear with me for a second. Okay. At least you know that this is not a recorded session. This is live as we run into errors. Okay. So if you ever run into errors, just know that you can always look at the error panel here. The output panel gives you the error message of like what went wrong and what activities that you need to check on. So just remember, as you're building like complex enterprise workflows, as a best practice, just remember to give annotations and name your activities. Every time you drag and drop your activity, just remember that you name your activities. Okay, that's going to take you a long way as a developer because this helps a lot in the troubleshooting itself. And it's gonna come up, okay? Just bear with me. I guess like sometimes when you're connected to your OneDrive or like the files aren't local, this happens. And as you can see here on this Explorer pane, this gives you all the list of like the project files that you have. So as you create, like, let's say you want to create like a new flowchart or a new sequence, anything that you create will be added under your project itself. And again, it depends on like what your organization gives you as your guidelines for structure. You can structure it that way. Okay. My personal best practice is to make sure that like I name like each and every, like if I'm doing SAP automations, then I will have a folder called SAP, and any workflow that touches SAP will be under that folder. So if I do like ServiceNow, then I have a folder for ServiceNow, and all the workflows that touch ServiceNow will be there. So it just keeps your project very organized so that you don't have to ramble through your workflow in order to find which workflow that you're dealing with. I guess the Excel finally pulled up here. We're gonna have a look at it. Oh, did it say closing? That's hilarious. Okay. Okay, so just so you know, it's not my studio that's causing the problem. It's my Excel too. So it's my machine as well. So any questions in the meantime? I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to the chat yet, but any questions so far?
I'm not seeing anything. I think we've answered most of them, but I do want people to know that if they do have questions, they can take themselves off mute because we really want you to know how to do this. So please don't be shy. Just let us know. Because this is going to be very helpful for you to know before you start this course. So
Yeah.
this is a question that just came in, Priya. When doing automations in ServiceNow or SAP or others, do you need those platform expertise or just UiPath expertise?
I would say like you as a developer wouldn't need the expertise on those platforms. Again, like from the automation perspective, I come from the consulting world. So every time we go to a client that has an automation need, I don't need to have like an SAP experience as long as there's an SME on the business side that defines you what the process does. Okay. So what you're going to be doing is like helping build the automation, but not becoming like an SAP developer. So that's a different role. I hope that helps answer. But again, like it's just like how you interact with the system. That's what matters. And you don't have to have like the product knowledge specifically itself. But if you do, it helps a lot.
And you can
Priya,
gain that over time, right? As you're working on those projects and stuff, you'll gain that over time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Priya, earlier there was a question about using Mac. I think that's typical question for everyone who's starting
Okay.
UiPath. Yeah.
Okay, so for everybody here, let me reveal that I'm on a Mac machine right now. So I'm using a virtual space here, and that's the reason that my system's like acting super slow because I'm connecting to a parallel environment. And for me, I cannot, just so you remember, Mac does not support like having like UApp, or UiPath Studio does not support being on Mac operating system. Okay. So that's the reason that you need to be on like a Windows environment. And that's because most of the large enterprise organizations have like a Windows environment. And, like all of this is based off like, Windows workflow foundations. So any DLLs will be depending on the Windows operating system itself. That's the reason that you're required to have like a Windows environment to experience the Studio desktop. But if you're going to just do like a simple task automation that requires only like API connections, you could just definitely explore Studio Web. That's going to accomplish the task, but nothing locally. And if you do want to build like complex automations, like with at the production ready level, anything that goes like touches like your client systems or anything that requires a proper organization, I prefer Studio Desktop a lot because it's so versatile that it gives you like all this debugging capabilities and all this organization capabilities. So Studio Desktop to me is the playground for developers. Okay. I hope that answers the Mac question. We had the Excel pulled up like the moment that Diana's voice came up. I think the Excel showed up. Diana, can you talk again so that we can get this Excel working?
Oh, you need me to talk about what?
Nothing. Just a superstitious thing. Like as you build automation, you become superstitious because you just like half the time you build your workflows and then you pray for it to work. Okay.
That's true. Yeah, and as Priya mentioned too, with these live events, sometimes it's just the server or the system, that things are a little bit slower, but usually when you're doing it on your own, it isn't as crazy.
Yeah. So finally, the Excel pulled up. Thanks, Diana.
Hmm.
As you can see, it was able to scrape off the same table that we saw on the website of Yahoo. So as you can see, it pulled out like every single column and the values as well. And this is saved locally on my computer. Now you can add like more steps to say like I want to send this file over to like my boss or like a different team. You could do like emailing activities and you could even upload this file over to like any of your downstream systems. Again, the possibilities are just endless. Now you just have to look at like what your business needs. What are the steps that I need to accomplish? Because the studio has all these activities built in, and you just need to define what it needs to do to accomplish your business goal. Okay. So again, think about Studio as the very easiest tool that you can use if you've used like any kind of like, IDE like Visual Studio or Python or anything. I think this is going to be very easy. And some of the UiPath resources, my favorite is the Academy. As you can see, like Academy is where you're going to be taking all these courses. So just make sure that you're signed up on the Academy with the same email that you signed up for the community event. So that way you get the credit as well. And as soon as you sign up, you'll be able to see like all these different career paths available. And for you to like get to the solution architect level, I think the best place to start would be to become a developer first and build on those use cases. And then you can become an architect as well. And these are the different roles that are also available. So if you want to take up other certifications, there are multiple different certifications and avenues available. And forum's going to be the space where you're going to be interacting with the community. Just remember, like our community is almost like 2 million people in there, and these are people across the globe. So just because like you have a question, don't be shy to ask those questions, because I will tell you like my growth happened because of the forum, because I was not afraid to ask those questions. And again, like there's no such thing as silly question, because you're not going to be alone. The forum makes you feel like, okay, I'm not the only one that's facing this problem. And somebody across the globe will help you answer that question. Okay, it doesn't matter the time zone. There's people always like around that are like, not that this is their full-time job. Just remember that they are also developers like you that started their journey and they just want to help. So I foresee you guys, once you start interacting with the forum, help out others as well. So it could be as simple as like, hey, how do I get a simple package updated? Or where is this Excel located? Help me. Like you can share screenshots, you can share your workflow, like you can share as much information as you could possibly and your company allows you to. And that way your questions are resolved and you help each other out. Okay. And the third thing would be the marketplace. That's where like you would see like all the accelerators and the reusable components that are already built out. So you can take a look at like what it has to offer in terms of solutions and templates as well. and community.uipath.com. You should be already aware of this because that's the reason that you're here. So just save this in your favorites because community.uipath.com is going to be the favorite place because you're going to see more and more events coming around UiPath, and it's always good to stay up to date. And just take 1 hour of your time. Even if you couldn't attend the session, at least register so that you could at least go back and watch the recording. Because learning happens not just overnight, it's going to happen like if you put like 30 minutes a day, that's going to be investment in yourself.
So one of the questions we got, Priya, was will we get a task or hands-on use cases as well while we progress? So there's two things about that. One is, can you explain the lessons when you take a course with UiPath, how that's built in? Second is you just mentioned the forum where you can access things there, like use cases.
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So, in order for you to like build your knowledge around the use cases, I would say like take up all the practice sessions that come up in your academy course. Okay, just make sure that you do them, not just to solve like the solution and say like, oh, I got it, but I would say like redo that same solution and say like, okay, let's say this time you want to be more efficient or you want to like achieve this within like a few minutes. So try to challenge yourself in ways and also go back to the forums and then you'll be able to see the use cases. I'll try to pull that up here. And the use cases are a great way to start. And I would also like watch out for any of the activities that the community is doing because there's always like a hackathon or like additional things that are going on because those are great places to be at to learn from like other use cases as well. Okay, so just go here and I lost where. Come on. So as you can see, like getting started with UiPath, it gives you like 20 different use cases learning sprint. So this is a great place to start and see like, okay, what are the things that I need to look at? Okay.
And then you can even ask anybody if they have a use case, right?
Oh, yes. There's another page too that has the use cases.
I think this interface has changed too.
So if you don't find it, just come here and just type like use case repository. This is what I was looking for. So as you can see, this gives you like a complete like other people like people from the community have submitted these use cases. So you can always come and look at this and be inspired and build your own use cases as well. Or go ahead and like try to replicate this and see how you can play with it and test it out. Okay? And feel free, like if you do have a use case, come ahead and submit it here too.
Mhm.
And this forums is going to be the area where you get like information on the new products, the updates, the demo days. So feel free to like play with the tool itself and keep on learning. That's the one key thing that's going to keep you on your toes. And this is like a global community like that we've had like we have APAC region, we have like the EMEA, like the European region and the Americas. And I will tell you that our APAC, the India community is quite vibrant. They have like in-person meetups in so many different locations. So if you have a chance, feel free to join them. And we do have a lot of virtual sessions and deep dive dev sessions as well that happens. So sign up for everything possible because learning is going to be the only way that you can grow here. Again, opening up to Q&A. If
Yeah, I just have to say, Tracy is on the call too. She's another MVP with us, Tracy Dixon, and she's been doing a great job answering chat. So thanks, Tracy.
Yes, Tracy is another one of the women MVPs that's been with me. She's gonna be a seven-time MVP too. So
Yeah,
she's
our
my counterpart
champions.
that I can always rely on. And again, I will tell you that this community has given me like from just acquaintances to now we are like friends. So you can have your own clan that you can find here. So just keep on learning.
Yeah,
Thanks.
this is a
I think
great
we're all caught up.
opportunity to network and grow with people too on the journey. So when you're starting off in this associate program, you'll meet people in the forum, you'll see their questions and stuff. You can reach out to them. So building a network is something we love to do in our UiPath community.
So I believe all the questions are answered in chat, unless anyone has anything new.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. So everybody, I think the next step is make sure you do your prerequisite work for February 2nd. You have a month to do that. If you have any questions, let us know, but it should be pretty straightforward. It's 2 hours of training that you should be able to pass and fill out a survey. And then we'll get going with our teams starting on February 2nd. So we're really excited that you guys will be joining us, and we're gonna be able to help you get through this. And it'll be nice for you to put this on your resume on LinkedIn, as well as just let your employers know that you're participating in this. Thank you, Priya, Ravathi, Tracy, for helping today. And you guys will see more of this team as we go through the series too, so you get to know these people. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Wishing
Uh-huh.
you luck on the series. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.